Hey Warrior, today I want to go over the understanding of Amazon product returns and refund. So getting a product return isn't fun. Let's explore what happens when a customer returns an item, the things you can do about it, and what you can do to prevent return from happening in the first place. Returns are an unavoidable part of selling anything, including on Amazon. On average, about 5 to 10% of in-store purchases are returned, while online purchases see a higher return rate of 15 to 40%. The highest rate of return are with casual apparel and electronic, from 12 to 18, and fashion apparel up to 35%. Because these category has larger volume of sales and larger volume of item orders, so you will see a higher return rate. One of my recommendations is if you are not a US based seller with a limited budget, I suggest not get into high return category as the competition gonna be more advanced and it will require more budget from the start to go in. So let's understand about Amazon return policy, all right? Number one, Amazon is a buyer-centric approach platform. They put their customer first, not the seller. Amazon make returning a product quick, easy, and free. And I want you to understand that this is a marketing approach for Amazon to get customer. Because if Amazon have no customer, then you won't have anyone to sell to. So I want you to understand this marketing approach from Amazon. It is a win-win situation, and Amazon is a flywheel. Each component of their business is to support one another. So if Amazon put the customer first, the customer gonna go in and make a purchase on Amazon. And then you guys, like us as seller, will go in and leveraging Amazon to sell our product, right? Just like this circle right here. Number two, Amazon provide 30-day return policy with no stipulation. So customer can simply click on return the item, give a reason, and it doesn't matter what the reason is. And number three, extended return period. Some category actually have an extended return period, like baby items that have a 90-day policy, which basically make it zero risk to buy a product from Amazon. Here is how the return process look like for you if you're new, and you can really reflect into your own buying journey as an Amazon customer as well. So first, customer will initiate a sales. When they initially bought the item from you, they were charged the sale price for the items. Amazon deducted their FBA fee, which consists of the fulfillment fee and the referral fee. The remaining balance is credited toward your seller account. That is how much money you made. Number two, return request. When a buyer returns an item, several different possible outcomes can occur depending on whether the item is sent back to Amazon and the condition of the item when it was returned. Next step, item not returned. If the customer requests a refund, but the item isn't returned to Amazon within the 45 days of refund, then in most cases, Amazon will end up charging the customer for the original sales, and you keep the revenue from the sales as if the return never happened. And next, number four, item returned in resellable condition. Let's assume that the customer actually sent the returned product back to Amazon. Then Amazon received the item, they will inspect it and evaluate whether it is a resellable condition or not. If it is determined that it is a resellable condition, meanings that is in like new condition, Amazon will return the item back to your inventory. However, they will also deduct the revenue of the sales from your account, and you will not be reimburse any of the FBA fee. And I want to stop you right here, and I want you to understand the cost of doing business, okay? So for Amazon, when they make a move of not returning you the FBA fee and the return fee, the reason why, because Amazon did their part of store your product, ship the product to the customer, handling customer service. Those activities from Amazon cost money. And they did their part, and for the product ourselves, it doesn't live up to, let's say, for example, what we market or the defective units. So we fail on our part. So that's why I want to stop you right here and let you know this is unavoidable, okay? And we consider it as a cost of doing business. Everything in life comes with a risk, same with business. So for non-resellable returns, there's going to be 3 different types that I want you to pay attention. Number 1, if the non-resellable return was Amazon fault. If it was Amazon fault, the item, let's say, was defective or damaged during the fulfillment from storage, shipping to the Amazon customer, then Amazon will take full responsibility, refund the customer, and refund you the cost of the product, including the FBA fee, to make you whole again. So as you see, they are fair. Scenario number 2. It could be seller or customer fault. It was your fault due to poor manufacturing or quality control that you was neglecting. Or if it was damaged by the customer themselves, Amazon will not take this responsibility, and they will refund the buyer, and you would not get reimbursed for the cost of the item or any other fee. Next scenario is unfulfillable inventory. In both cases, where the product is not resellable condition, Amazon will not return the item back to your inventory. Instead, they will place it in your unfulfillable inventory, and you will get an option to either have your Amazon destroy the items for you or ship it somewhere else, such as back to yourself if you want to inspect it, refurbish it, or do whatever that you please with it. In my recommendation, you always want to get your inventory back into your house or to a warehouse that you rent or to a third party. And you can do an inspection, and it's very important to know what are the reason why the problem are there, so that you can proactively improve on your product quality, or working with your manufacturer and letting them know that, let's say, the product was defective from the manufacturing site. You then can ask for a credit for the next batch of order, and often the manufacturer would ask you to return the product back to China for them to fix it. And last case scenario is you can liquidate your product. Let's say most of them are usable, but it's not up to the standard to sell as new. You can also find niche group or garage sales, whatever that work for you, to recoup your initial investment back. So managing return. Number 1, email notification. When you get a return, you will receive an email notification of the outcome, whether the item is in sellable condition or not, and you can then take action on it. You can ship it back to yourself or having it disposed. So make sure that you have a dedicated email just for your Amazon business, so you can always keep track of it, or have your VA keep track of it. Number 2, automated removal. You can also automate this action in your seller account setting. If you log into Seller Central, you can go to Setting Fulfillment by Amazon, then scroll down to Automated Unfulfillable Removal Setting, and click on the Edit button. There, you can enable automated removals and choose what to automate. For example, return or dispose. Then you would also provide Amazon your return address or a third-party fulfillment address to receive the return. And it's very straightforward. that allow you to see the whole detail. Next is direct consumer contact. If a customer contacts you directly about a return or refund and you issue the refund to them yourself, meaning the buyer doesn't go through Amazon normal product return process via their account, Amazon will not reimburse you for anything. So make sure you keep in mind that if a customer contacts you asking about a refund or return, always direct them to initiate the return process through their order history on their buyer account. Lastly, replacement items. In some cases, Amazon may send replacement item to your customer if they receive a defective units. Amazon will ship the replacement item free of charge to the customer directly from your inventory. So as a seller, you are not going to receive any payment or be charged any fee, but you still keep the revenue from the original sales. However, you will bear the cost of the replacement item as it's come from your inventory. Think of it as the customer getting buy one, get one free, but the first one, they didn't get to use the product because it was defective. So in either cases, you still be able to make a sales profit off of your product, but the profit gonna be minus your product cost and the opportunity cost. All right. Account health and return rates. These are very important that I want you to keep in mind so that you can maintain a relationship with Amazon. Number one, account health. Amazon track your account health based on your several metrics, one of them being the order defect rate, ODR. This is a measure of your ability to provide good customer experience. An ODR above 1% may result in your account being deactivated. So how can we prevent it from happening? Is just make sure that you always check your account health and improve on your product quality and make sure that you provide the best customer experience for the customer, because you are leveraging Amazon as a mall to sell your product. And for customer on Amazon, they are Amazon priority. So for you to be a good seller on Amazon, make sure that you serve the same boss as Amazon, which is the customer. Return rate ratio, number 2. Amazon also track your return rate ratio. As I mentioned earlier, return can vary from 5 to 15% or even higher depending on different category. If your return rate ratio get too high, Amazon will suspend your listing first, and you would have to submit a formal plan of action on how you will fix the problem with your product before Amazon reactivate the listing. I would have another video that will go through this in detail. Just make sure that you consider to subscribe to this channel so that you can learn furthermore. But just to briefly go through it, basically Amazon wants you to address the problems, a plan of action, just so that they can have travel that you are aware of the situation. So the next time when they send, let's say you still have a high return rate, Amazon has a travel to let you know that, hey, you have not followed through with your promises through the plan of action. So now we have a right to suspend your listing. And Amazon will give you multiple attempts, so you be okay? But try to fix the issue before it get out of hands. And lastly on this is product inspection. This is why it's very important to always have a product inspection done before your product leaves your manufacturer warehouse so that you can ensure your product quality. So if you start getting a lot of return, especially in the beginning when you just launch your product, what I suggest to do is having the return items sent back to you so that you can inspect them to see if there's something wrong. If you discover a defect or problem with your product, contact your supplier and have them fix it so the problem doesn't continue in the future order. And reminder is If the defective was your manufacturer problem, make sure that you prefer into the original agreement with your manufacturer to have credit for the defective units. And that's why building relationship with your manufacturer can be crucially important, because they would assist you on making sure that you get a fair situation with them. So now let's go through mitigating return. Number one, detailed product description. Make sure you have a detailed product description. Clearly state that the product can and can do, so that there's no ambiguity. I know so many sellers that they don't put a lot of effort into creating the listing, video, copywriting, and everything that they wrote on there is just very basic. And remember, if you give mediocrity on your whole entire listing, you will receive the same result. So that's why it's important to pay attention to your product detail description and add as much information as possible. Be transparent with the customer from the start. Set the right expectations so that you don't have to clean up after yourself. Number two, accurate detail. Accurately describe the material, size, and color using a sizing chart, listing the dimension, and using high quality professional photo. This way you can reduce any ambiguity and risk of return due to misunderstanding. Number three, avoid bad reviews. The key to avoid return, as they usually come with bad reviews. Remember, the customer are more likely to leave a bad review on Amazon than good review on Amazon. That's why it's always important to make sure that you, number one, be transparent upfront about the product, what it can do and what it cannot do. Number two, you always make sure that you communicate and provide as much support to the customer as possible. And you want to catch the customer before they end up leaving a bad review to Amazon. So customer service is key. Amazon does handle customer service, but if there are technical problem of the product, you would have to be in charge of it. And that's why I would always recommend to have a virtual assistant on standby once you start having consistent sales coming in, so that they can help support all the technical issue. And number two is make sure that you have a knowledge book of your product. Usually it could be the user manual, but you want to add as much information tutorial as possible, because the user manual yourself often doesn't have a lot of key insight, because the manufacturer in China, that's not their main part of making it. Here are some pro tips handling bad reviews. So let's say the worst scenario is you did eventually, I promise you, you would have some bad review and some return. It is non-negotiable. It is a part of business. So here is how to handle bad reviews. All right. So number one, identify whether the bad review is fulfillment related issue. If a buyer leaves a bad reviews, whether it's a bad review or seller feedback, and if the review is about anything fulfillment or shipping related, Amazon will take full responsibility for that. So what you can do is make sure that you contact seller support, create a case, and make sure that you specify that this review right here is about fulfillment, shipping, and it wasn't your fault. And Amazon will remove that review for you. Lastly, I want you to focus on sales. I know this all sounds pretty confusing and seemingly unfair, but to be honest, I don't worry much about refund and return, as it's a part of the process. It's also a part of doing a business. It's going to happen regardless of what you do. So just focus on generating more sales and double checking that Amazon is reimburse you accurately. Other than that, I don't waste any more time or energy on return. My recommendation is, so I do recommend you to sign up for Helium 10, the refund genie. So what does it do is, So with Amazon, they are a large system. So they would eventually misplace your product and they may damage your product. And somewhat because they are large, sometimes not all the time that your product loss will be reported. So what you can do is you would use Helium 10 as they're gonna dive deep into your data and figure it out what are the incident that such as loss or damaged inventory that caused by Amazon that you didn't know, and same with Amazon, they didn't know. So Helium 10 will do that part and they will be able to get you at least a couple hundred to a few thousand and upward to more than 10,000 in refund if you have been selling on Amazon for a while. Check out the video description as I do have a discount code for Helium 10 subscription that could save you upward to 50% so that you can try this out to see how much money that you will be able to save by using this Refund Genie. Alright, and lastly, before we leave, I just do want you to have a few key takes away, especially when it's come to selling on Amazon, is return and refund are a part of the business. A good analogy could be driving a car. When you first drive a car, expect there will be incident. Expect there will be distraction around and things that could cause you harms or distract you. But focus on the road ahead. The road ahead here is focus on more sales. Because if you have more sales, it will be able to give you more profit. And when you have more profit, it will make up for the loss or the cost of doing business for all the return and refund from the customer. Don't let this distract you or prevent you from starting your Amazon journey or continue. Because just like everything in life, everything comes with a cost. When you're dating someone, it comes with a cost of losing time and money. When you're driving, it comes with a cost of accident, and many different things. It is a part of the journey. But imagine if you focus on the later reward when you have a cash flow business that generating you a couple thousand upward to hundred of thousand, and eventually you can sell your business. Then you're gonna realize these costs of return and refund is just a small part. All right. So how to manage it is there's a software. It's called Sellerboard. I would also recommend you to sign up for Sellerboard here. So it will allow you to see what are your net profit, what are your return. So you can see like a whole data point, and that would allow you a bird's eye view of how your business is doing. And I also have a discount code down in the video description, and that would help you to be able to manage your business, grow your business, and start finding the right path for your financial future. All right, I hope that you find this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram, my YouTube channel, and also follow my Instagram right here, where you can see my entire journey from where I started my Amazon business, the up and down, so that you can get a realistic expectation about the Amazon journey. It is difficult somewhat, but it's going to be the most rewarding journey, as you're going to learn so many different skills about business that could apply toward your future, and eventually you can pass on this knowledge toward your children in the future. I'll see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to comment down below if you have any question, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.